book is amazing. Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? This is Zen from Zen World, and I hope you're having a great day. So we are doing a rundown review for Thor #1, and let me say, this book is amazing. The first couple of pages, we see Thor's hammer being flung all the way to Earth, and then we get a cutscene for, not a cutscene, but a panel where the Avengers are basically facing off against this beast, and Thor's hammer just kind of like rips and like just goes right through his head. So meanwhile, Thor is on Asgard, and he's the king now. He's the All Father. So he threw his hammer from all the way there, and then we go back to the scene where Tony is basically saying, he said, anyone has a Sharpie, and you're probably wondering like why. So on it, he writes on the hammer, enjoy your retirement, as the hammer comes back to Thor. So Thor is talking with Lady Sif, and Lady Sif, she took on the role of Heimdall, basically, and she's basically like, there's nothing else you need to do. Go be a king and stop, like, basically doing what kings don't do. And he's basically saying, what is a king to a god, right? But anyway, he's kind of just feeling the weight of being the All-Father and the king, and kind of feeling it out whether or not he really wants to do this. Is this what he always wanted to do? It is what he always wanted to be, but now that he has it, is it what he wants to do? So anyway, we get some dialogue, continuing. We get dialogue from like Loki, who comes in and he's asking him questions about different things, and basically like Thor is like get out of here, like don't ever come back, or else I'm gonna have my ravens come after you. But it's that kind of interaction between Thor and Loki. Loki as a trickster, and there was one panel where Thor threw the hammer like this close to Loki's face, right, and then pulled back the hammer, and Loki's like how are you able to do that? And basically it's, as the All-Father, he has a litany of new abilities and powers, right? And more control. So then as we're going along, we get a scene where Galactus falls to Asgard, and basically when it falls to Asgard, like there's a ton of Asgardians that die from that. They don't really talk about that, but I was like, whoa, like all those people just died. So you're probably wondering like what could make Galactus fall, right? So apparently Galactus just escaped something called the Black Winter, right? And the Black Winter is not a new phenomenon. It is actually something that Galactus has faced as Galen. And if you're not too familiar when I'm saying Galen, remember that Galactus came from another universe, right? And as Galen, who was his former self as a humanoid, we didn't really know what kind of eradicated his universe, but now we're led to believe that it is the Black Winter. And the Black Winter, as Galactus describes it, is basically death, right? And it is something that, depending on the race of people or where they're from, it looks different to everyone. So as Galactus describes, it's just like death. It's just pure death, right? So then it's like, what? And then going back to Galen as who was the predecessor to Galactus before he became Galactus, he escaped his universe and was able to go into incubation, which is Lifebringer 1, right? If you read Donny Cates' run on Silver Surfer Black, then you'll get more understanding on that as well too, right? But then skipping along, as we see Galactus, who's just like kind of laying there, Thor basically calls on the heralds of Galactus, right? All of the heralds of Galactus, who were basically just like, what's going on, basically. And then we get Silver Surfer, who comes in, and Silver Surfer is in his Silver Surfer Black iteration, right? Again, you would have to follow the story of Silver Surfer Black to know what happened and why he has that dark persona, right? He's not evil or anything. It's just, yeah, he has a dark persona. So Silver Surfer is the one who kind of leads him to understand about the Black Winter and things of that nature. But he also lets him know that in order to beat him, like, Galactus has to get stronger, basically. And then Silver Surfer basically talks about that over his time, throughout his time as being a herald, he's collected these different worlds that if Galactus was to devour them, he would become unimaginably more powerful, right? And I know, it's something that they just threw out there, but of course it sounds like amazing. It's like, how much stronger can Galactus be? So as they're going outside to talk to Galactus, basically, they're basically telling him, X, Y, and Z, and then Galactus is basically saying, like, to Silver Surfer, I can't really believe that you were able to shield this from me mentally about all those other planets, right? And then he's talking to Thor, and Thor is in his like really badass mode, right? So Thor is basically like, kneel down to me, right? He said that many times throughout the book too, which is a little bit different from his character, but whatever. He is King Thor now, and their dialogue exchange is basically leading to understand about the Black Plague, but also that Galactus is basically saying that Thor will be the person who brings him down, right? But he's saying before that happens, and this is the part that got me really hyped, he said, I need you close. So then he bestows him to be a Herald of Thunder, which is like the Herald of Galactus, basically. And then we get this persona. He basically like transformed, right, into this version of Thor, which is like a cosmic All-Father, right? That's not what they call it, but I think I'm just going to call it the Cosmic All-Father Thor, right? Which is just the Herald of Galactus, right? So it's just really amazing to see. I really like the ravens on the side, right? It looks amazing. So that's why I got that cover. Overall, the book was amazing. I said amazing a lot of times. But I'm definitely going to give this book 10 out of 10 in terms of my review. I don't really give books 10 out of 10, but I was really immersed into this book, and as I was going along, I didn't really feel like there was a waste of pages. You were feeling the weight of Thor himself as being a king, and also kind of faltering between like, do I actually want to be king? And I just want to go, I'm a warrior, right? So it's hard for him to be a warrior. So that's why he goes back to the quote by saying, like, what is a king to a god, right? And he's the god of thunder, right? So, he was basically doing just really cool things that he's kind of doing like the paperwork, right? Which is not the paperwork. It's just basically he has to motivate his people, right? He has to talk about all the things that he's not normally talking about. Usually he's talking about battle plans and going out to like beat X, Y, and Z. And that's why we got that first panel of him just throwing his hammer all the way down to Earth to then, help out the Avengers and then bring it right back, right? Amazing. So again, 10 out of 10. Go out and read this book, and if you're enjoying my reviews, give me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and when the next one comes out, if this video does well, and I get to like 10 likes or something like that, then I'll definitely do another video when number 2 hits. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.